sky turns gold and don't leave me waiting long.
Mr. Denny Cottle sang on that song, I Am Happy to Say. Before that, you heard his previous band. The song was called Texas.
Yeah.
And that's Charlie Jackson and the Heartland Railway. And I am happy to say that one member of the Heartland Railway, Mr. Denny Cottle, is here in studio. How you doing, Denny?
Pretty good. I'm glad to be here.
Well, it is good to see you. Good to have you here. We are going to be doing some Facebook Live stuff later as Denny plays here in the studio. I'm just curious. Tell me about working on that Charlie Jackson record with Micah Carley, right?
Yep, we recorded it with Micah at Popside, and Patrick mixed and mastered and everything. But we had such a good time recording with Micah. He is super professional, super efficient with the time, which I really appreciate. And he's not afraid to just let you try some stuff out, to give feedback. Me and him, just the two of us, spent a lot of time, especially working out the vocal harmonies and things like that. We just had a really good time, a really fun time. It's fun to work with Micah, that's for sure.
If someone's listening right now to your Tuesday afternoon alternative on WUDR, hi there, I'm Dr. J, I'm your host. So to my question, Denny, I'm just curious, if someone didn't know you, how long have you been making music?
Let's see, how old am I? I'm 33, so I started playing in a pop punk band when I was like 15, probably, as most people do. And our band name was called Baker's Mom.
Baker's Mom.
What a ridiculous band name. But we played a lot back home. I'm from kind of the Camden, Eaton area, Preble County, so we played a lot back there. And we were kind of the only rock band happening out there at the time. So that's where it started. Played in a bunch of bands. We played some of my previous band stuff, that Texas song, which was a lot of fun to play in that band too. It was a pretty short-lived band though, unfortunately.
Oh, that said, a great song. Just a great song. Love that song. And it's always so sad, like, oh, this is brilliant. Oh, the band broke up. Nuts.
Yeah. We that song was one of the ones that we wrote at the studio. We recorded in San Antonio, and with a pretty popular producer, and had kind of grand plans for that band. And right about the time we got the recording done and everything off for mastering, the band broke up just in time for that to be finished. So, and it was because of a girl. One of the guys had to move out of town for love. So,
well, we won't make any Beatles or Yoko references here.
Yeah, I was pretty upset about it for a while. But I just year before last, I did their wedding. So I officiated their wedding. So that was, I guess, if they're gonna get married, if they're going to go to that length, I'll allow it to happen. So.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Right? No need to stay angry.
Yeah, it was good to kind of let that go, too. We had a pretty good time there for the wedding.
And you've also been playing out solo for quite a while.
Yeah, I have. I've got a handful of stuff online that I've either recorded at home, some stuff that I've recorded with Micah, and I just love playing music. I mean, I play in Charlie's band. I play in a country kind of cover band, like party band. I get around. Yeah. So.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
Right.
In this context, right. That's not a bad thing. So Denny's offered to play live for us, and a little later in the program, we'll get him to play live. We'll check our Twitter stream. If you've got any questions or comments for Denny, let us know. DRJYTAA is our Twitter handle. Dr. J, your Tuesday afternoon alternative. I'm drawing in the air. No one can see me drawing in the air, but it's not. It sounds weird and hard to remember until you put it together in that way.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions for Denny, please let us know. 937-229-2774 is the number. Though while we're talking on air, that's usually not a good time to call since I have to run the phones as well. But if you have questions, please let us know. We also have a Facebook page. You can send questions to us that way. I'm curious, Denny, are you working on new music?
So I've been recording on and off with Micah for a couple of years now. I'll be honest, I was really in kind of a writing slump for the last 2 years. And I think I'm kind of starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel there. I got a couple of new songs that are well past due. Just need to, I kind of need to feel inspired again. I don't know what it was, but I think there are two things lately in my life that have kind of given me some new inspiration. One of the two is that I have never done this before in my life. But I read through the Bible all the way through. Like, it took 2 years.
Cover to cover.
Cover to cover, yeah. And
wow.
I regardless of how you feel about that, there is some amazing stuff in there, and just some really cool, like Lord of the Rings stories and all kinds of stuff. So that's been pretty inspiring, just because I like drawing from religious iconography, I guess, as well. And then, this is kind of the tired old thing, but like the political and civil unrest in the world right now has kind of got me feeling all the feelings, all the feels, I
think a lot of us are feeling one way or another these days. There does not seem to be a limitation or a lack of feeling.
Oh, yeah.
It seems to be the opposite.
Yeah. And I think I'm one of the type of people, too, that, like, I can absolutely respect people with different viewpoints, different opinions. I really, and this is probably something that came from reading the Bible, too, but I think everybody can kind of agree, like, we need to love on each other a little bit more than we do as a country and as a world. We just we're so standoffish and so aggressive with each other. Like, we could use a period of just loving on each other for a while.
Agreed. Well, one of the times I saw you guys play in Charlie Jackson, the Heartland Railway, I saw you do a cover of the Elvis Costello, Nick Lowe cover, right? What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? And I say that to myself as a mantra.
Yeah.
What's so funny about kindness and love and peace and understanding?
I agree.
It's not funny at all. It's a good thing.
I agree. Totally. Yeah. So that's got me feeling a little more inspired to write some stuff too. And eventually hit it back in with Micah. You probably know this already, but like, I work a day job, I play in a couple of bands, and life just gets kind of busy. So I need to make Micah a priority again, though, and get those recordings done.
You don't need sleep, Denny.
Yeah, you're right.
Give up the sleep and live the music.
That's true.
No, I'm just gonna guess out there, as a human being, you probably need sleep
every once in a while. Yeah.
Well, do you think we could get a song from you?
Yeah, absolutely. The first song that I wanted to play, this is a song that I wrote a while back, and David Payne and Ricky and a lot of those guys, we've played acoustic shows together.
Lovely people.
Good guys. David from the New Old Fashioned, and Ricky is in the Charlie Jackson band, and he has a band called Starving in the Belly of the Whale also. But we've played a handful of times together, and I've played this song and kind of told a little story about it. I just found out that this is my girlfriend's favorite song of mine.
Oh, really?
It is, and it's a story song, and it's not a very nice story song either.
What?
So it's not about her, thankfully, but I was considering kind of retiring this from my set list, and she said, "No, I love that song. I want to hear it." So anyway, this is called "Read Your Bible Good." This is a song in the vein of the old good Woody Guthrie stuff. Come gather round here, people, story I will tell about a boy named Danny trapped in a living hell. At first he was the nicest boy that you could ever meet. He wouldn't hurt a fly, and he helped old ladies cross the street. And every Sunday morning you'd see him at the church. He told a couple lies, but nothing too much worse. He had a couple buddies and a girlfriend round the way, but that would be his downfall, at least that's what people say. He begged that girl to go to church with him all through the week. She'd get so darn mad at him that she wouldn't even speak. So he left her there at home with his buddy Bobby Joe. That's when things got ugly more than he'd ever know. Sunday morning came and gone, he read his Bible good, but no man's ever meant to see what no man ever should. And I still find it hard to blame him for the thing he did. People just go crazy when they lose the best of friends. When he got home that Sunday, he thought he'd take a nap, but in his bed he found them with her legs around his back. He He tried too hard to stay calm and think of other things. And when the police showed up, they found a letter and a ring. It said, won't you tell the preacher I'm sorry for what I done. When I saw them together, I had to draw my guns. And you know that it ain't like me to do that sort of thing. You know I plan to wed that girl, I even bought a ring. And tell my little sister that Bubby had to go. And tell her that I love her more than she'll ever know. And won't you tell the preacher I'm sorry. Whoops, I already did that one, didn't I? And whenever you catch me, and I'm sure that you will, bury me between my girl and Bobby on the hill. 'Cause Sunday morning came and gone, he read his Bible good, but no man's ever meant to see what no man ever should. And I still find it hard to blame him for the thing he did. People just go crazy when they lose the best of friends. And that next week they found him all holed up in a mine. And there a gunfight happened and it took a few more lives. But a nicer boy than Danny, you know you'd never meet. Just make sure that when you leave home, you know who's in your sheets.
That is dark.
Thank you. Well, yeah, it is. I was talking to David maybe a month ago or so, and he said something that I had said at one of the Canal Street songwriters in the round things. He said, you know, sometimes you just got to write a song so that you don't do that song. And then he said,
oh, really?
He said, oh, I think you said that, actually. I said that about that song. I said, that was a cathartic thing. I had to get that out artistically so that I wouldn't have those feelings anymore, you know? And
sure.
I would never do what's in that song, but sometimes you get all the feels, and that's a good way to release that.
So do you find that songwriting in general helps you release things that you're feeling or process things you're thinking about?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, there have been a lot of weird things going on in life lately with my dad and some health problems, and
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so there are times where it is that cathartic release, and then there are times where you just feel kind of seized up and like you can't get it out. So I think that's kind of what I was feeling for a couple of years here now, and thankfully have been able to get a few more songs going. And anytime I start writing after a slump, you kind of have to get through some trash at the beginning, like just some bad songs. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
To get back in the process of writing and kind of get back on the horse. So I'm ready to be back on the horse, that's for sure. Do
you have any shows coming up?
Let's see. For me, I have we're doing one of the Ladder 11 showcases. And I think that's me, Ricky, and it might be me, Ricky, and Charlie, actually. But we're all doing individual sets of our own music.
Right.
So that I will have to maybe send you the date on that.
Oh, please do.
For the show notes or something. But yeah, it's coming up sometime here pretty soon.
And is the Heartland Railway playing out anytime? I know you guys just played this past weekend.
We played at Yellow. Actually, we played at Yellow Cab when they had that giant fire across the street.
Yeah, how was that?
That was crazy, you know. And we kept making the joke throughout the whole night because obviously everybody said, "Oh my gosh, go outside! Look at this fire!" And it was, I mean, people were coming from all over town. We were trying to coerce people into coming in to the air conditioning to hear all the bands too, to watch the fire. But it was pretty crazy. I mean, that's the biggest fire I've ever seen in person. And we kept making the joke all night, you know, hey, did you guys notice that big fire out there? So, of course, everybody in town noticed that big fire out there.
Well, I guess a lot of people were taking photos, and there was like wedding photos and things that were taken.
Yeah.
Not quite what Dayton should be known for,
right,
but still.
and thankfully, I don't think there was anybody in that building. I mean, it was an abandoned building, right?
Right. That's my understanding, too. I mean, it was a tremendous fire.
Yeah.
But I believe they're still cleaning up the rubble. And
I would not be surprised.
so will there now be songs about the Great Dayton Fire?
Yeah, we'll start covering We Can't Stop the Fire.
Well, I'm expecting a couple of songs from you there.
Yeah, I've got I need to. I have been strongly considering putting a cover song on the next release that I do with Micah, or finalizing a release with Micah. So new original stuff, maybe a cover song on there. I thought about doing a Sunvolt cover, maybe.
Well, I've been pushing for Sunvolt and Uncle Tupelo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we corresponded, and I said something about whiskey bottles.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh yeah.
Oh no, I won't let you forget about that.
Oh, then that's where I got the idea. Hey, thank you for that then.
I'm a huge Uncle Tupelo fan. It's crazy. If I had a spare poster, it would be on this wall.
Yeah.
I do not have a spare Uncle Tupelo poster.
There's not a lot of real estate left on these walls in here.
That's the goal. A radio station should be covered in posters, right?
Yeah, true. Absolutely.
Well, if you're just joining us, this is your Tuesday afternoon alternative on WUDR, Dayton, Ohio, student-run radio from the University of Dayton, a rock in the Gem City, music in all directions. Support your local music scene. I'm joined here today by my good friend Denny Cottle, who is in many things, involved in many musical projects, notably Charlie Jackson, the Heartland Railway. He's got his own solo stuff. What's the name of the country cover band that you're in?
Allison Road is the name of that. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and everybody needs a band with a road or a street name in it.
Oh, I agree.
But I've started playing with some new guys too lately, so we might have a new because that has a girl lead singer. Her name's Allison, and it kind of made sense at the time.
That does make sense.
Kind of an ode to the Gin Blossom song too, which
is a great song.
I love the Gin Blossom's entire catalog. So. But yeah, so we might have another thing coming out too that's going to kind of do some country covers and some originals, because I want to hear some of my originals with a country band, like a country version of these songs too.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So I'm just curious. What are your influences, Denny? We probably asked you that before when you're in here with Charlie and them, but let's say people are like, who is this great guy singing right now? So Mr.
Sure the
Denny
phone lines
Cottle,
are flooded with that right now, yeah.
Mr. Denny Cottle, what are your influences? Who do you love?
I love, I can tell you one of the guys that I love and kind of grew up with through my dad is Ricky Skaggs, and he just did that bicentennial in Miamisburg show.
Yeah.
Kind of got rained out a little early, but I love Ricky Skaggs and kind of the good bluegrass harmonies, especially vocal harmonies. But I would be a liar if I didn't say, early on, like Green Day was a huge influence for me too. So one of the guys that I go to church with, and his name's Phil Wing. He's another great Dayton musician that's played some of those showcases with us. He said, you're kind of like a mix like between this punk rock hillbilly, and I'm like, I will take that. I will take that. That's pretty much sums me up right there. So a lot of punk and pop punk, but I love country and bluegrass, especially kind of for the vocal harmonies and the artistry there. Not that I'm a big fan. New country really does not do it for me, kind of radio country.
You can't see me right now, but I'm making a very sad face.
True. Yeah.
Like I just ate something sour.
Yeah. But, spent a good part of the weekend listening to, Sturgill Simpson and Colter Wall and some of those guys. Colter Wall is amazing. His voice is crazy.
Great stuff, yeah. It is a very unexpected voice, don't you think?
Absolutely. If you were to look at him, you would not think that voice belongs to that dude. But that's another great story singer-songwriter too. Kate McCannon and some of that stuff are incredible story songs. And
I'm listening a lot to Tyler Childress.
Oh, I love him. He's awesome.
Oh, what a great record. That last Nikki Lane record was terrific.
Yeah.
The joke that Mrs. Dr. J and I have is that I'm going to do an alt country version of this show.
Awesome. Your Tuesday afternoon alt country I love it.
Speaking of not sleeping.
Yeah, Tyler's voice, man, he's got kind of that, he's got the Jason Isbell or Sturgill Simpson, but he's got the high lonesome country kind of crack in his voice that is amazing.
It's just a terrific album.
Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that I listen to now, but just came up like I'm sure a lot of Dayton musicians, and there are a ton of great Dayton musicians, And I think a lot of us kind of came up in that same way, where we fell in love with punk rock, and then we kind of branched out from there. And I think Bob Dylan, when I got my hooks sank in on Bob Dylan, then that kind of led me into some of the classic country stuff too.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah, stuff that had always been around in my family. My dad plays drums. My dad and my grandpa played in a country band together for years in the 70s, and it had always been around my family, but I was too cool for country music for a long time. And then
I'm raising my hand as guilty.
but you know what? I'm not too cool for anything. If it's good music, if it makes you feel something, and if it tells a good story, I'm in.
Well, and it's funny when you're younger, you're listening to for me, it was like the Replacements and Husker Du and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'll never listen to country music. And now I'm like, I don't understand what was wrong with me.
Yeah. I remember telling somebody when I was 16 or 17, like, I'll never date a girl that plays an acoustic guitar. She has to play an electric guitar, Like, man, how times have changed since then.
Right. Isn't that I always think that if you stood by the statements that you made when you were younger, you're going to be sadly disappointed.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, you're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative here on WUDR. Mr. Denny Cottle, kind enough to come into studio. I feel like he might need a drink of water, and I should give him a bit of a break.
There we go.
We've got a song you sent us. Anything you want to say about Say Please?
Oh, yeah, this is, so the couple of songs that I sent you are kind of the rough mixes from Micah that we haven't finished up yet, but this is, I didn't realize how kind of Beatles inspired this song was until I put it down. So it was a really fun song to do, and another story song. I heard you wanna be a doctor, cut people open with your bare hands. Say that you were just a natural and destined for high demand. I heard that once you fixed a broken heart with just a needle and a shoestring. You tied it down and sewed him up real clean. He was never sad again. I say please, I just say please. I say please, instead fix me. You said your brother was a scientist, scholarly and oh so full of pride. You said he would have been the best one day until your brother died. I heard the doctors tried to save him with instruments that would prolong life, but they just couldn't make him breathe again, no matter how hard they tried. I say please, I just say please, I say please, instead save me. You said your father was a wise man, always there with a word of truth, but he was shot in Mississippi outside the telephone booth, where he just called to tell your mother that he was fine and that he'd be home soon. He went to tell her that he loved her when he found the bullet hole wound. I say please, I still say please, when I say please, instead take me.
You're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative with Dr. J and Mrs. Dr. J. Charlie Jackson and the Heartland Railway, Because We Love It. And hey, did you know Denny Cottle is playing and singing there? And if you don't, shame. For shame. I know we were going to come back to that idea of like punk and country.
Yeah.
And because one of our listeners asked online for you to address that question. Yeah. Many punk musicians either play as part of their band or their music or just like country music. They tend to embrace it later.
No, that is an excellent point. The fact that he brought that up too, that immediately makes me think of like Social D and some of that stuff that they've done. There's a lot of good punk and like rockabilly, cowpunk, all that stuff. Excuse me. That's totally applicable. I think for me, it was more of a personal perspective of like growing up out in the middle of a cornfield, and that rebellious thing for me was like, I'm going to rebel against the music and the country, that I grew up in, because that's for old people, that's for my parents and grandparents or whatever. And I think that that just kind of illustrates itself differently for different people depending on where you're from, if you're from the city or from the country or whatever. So it's funny, so my family all live out there still, and they call me the City Cottle.
You're the City Cottle.
I'm the City Cottle because I live
also a great album title.
Because I live in the suburbs of Dayton, like they think it's the city. They call me the City Cottle, and I think there's a little bit of facetiousness in that. But,
yeah.
But I'll take it. I guess I'm too city for the country and too country for the city. I'm somewhere in between. So
you and Johnny Cash, I think.
I'll take that. Yeah, heck yeah.
I know he said things like that he wasn't sure quite where he fit, but it didn't matter because he's going to do his own thing.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had the inspiration and just the Johnny Cash. He's an important musician to me growing up, and songwriting style and just his coolness. Talk about a cool guy.
Oh, seriously.
He's the top of the heap on the coolness factor.
Well, and an inspirational icon across genre.
Yeah.
Pop musicians reference Johnny Cash. Yep. Punkers reference, I read an interview, I'm trying to think, with this goth band, this new goth band in England, and they were talking about they were trying to make their version of a Johnny Cash song.
Isn't that amazing?
I'm like, what the heck? What?
Yeah. But what I really love too is we tend to look back with kind of rose-colored glasses at Johnny Cash's entire history.
Sure.
He had some pretty hokey songs or moments in the TV show and stuff like that, but he wasn't afraid to get out there and try something out and really give it a try, not just give it kind of the old college try. Like he really went for it, and if it bombed, it bombed, and if it stuck, those were groundbreaking things that he did.
And I think he owned it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
If it didn't work, he didn't run away from the fact that he had done it.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Johnny Cash is I think to that person's point, you're right. Everybody comes from a different background, and what you are, in your punk rock years rebelling against, it's very different for different people. I think even regionally, bands from Dayton, we used to play a lot like in Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania all over, and they said there's a Dayton sound. And it wasn't just that there's one genre from Dayton, but like multiple genres kind of from Dayton have a Dayton sound. I think San Antonio has its own sound. There are regional sounds that you can kind of identify.
Oh, sure.
So I think it's pretty neat to be a part of that.
Well, someone else, Dave from Washington, D.C. is asking, you have a lovely voice and you harmonize beautifully on the Charlie Jackson record.
Cool, thanks.
How do you approach singing, and how do you approach singing harmony?
Okay. So I have a good friend of mine that was in the band that we played Texas with that is probably the best harmony singer I've ever met. And to be completely honest with you, everything is always thinking like trying to get up to that level. Like I probably have an unhealthy comparison with me and him as far as harmony singing goes. But just practicing in the car, practicing with country, with especially like Dwight Yoakam and some of that good country stuff, with the Eagles, bands that have good harmonies, and like just making it a personal instructional class while you're in the car to pick out the harmonies. I have no vocal training. You said something about a tenor earlier.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what a tenor, an alto, or whatever it is. I don't know any of that. I don't know how to read music. I wish I did. That's not a prideful thing. I don't know. So I've kind of had to go about the long way, around and figure them out and try stuff out in the studio with Micah. And thank God for him being open to letting me try stuff out in the studio.
Well, it's funny. The musicians who come in here who've worked with someone like Patrick Himes or Micah Carley have not a bad word to say.
Yeah. I think Patrick and Micah both are like top. Now, we are lucky to have them in this
Agreed.
area. Yeah.
Let's see. I know. People are like, Wade, you haven't asked my question yet. Okay, calm down, people. Calm down. Okay, lots of people agreeing with your Johnny Cash comments, which I think is kind of neat. I don't know who. I'm not clear on which David this is, but David in Dayton is asking. You play bass and you play guitar. Do you have a preference for one over the other?
That's a good question. I started off playing guitar when I was 15, 16, whatever. I think that's part of what being in multiple bands has allowed me to do is kind of scratch that itch in each one. Some bands I play guitar, some bands I play bass. I love playing bass. That's not just the other guitar player is better than you, so let him play guitar and you play bass.
Right.
Bass, if you have a good foundational bass line and kind of something that makes a song interesting, that adds so much to a recording and to a band. So I really strive to bring something to the table when it comes to playing bass, and I really enjoy it. I like both. I'm a guitar player first, I guess, but I'm trying to be a student of bass players as well.
Well, Sarah from Beaver Creek would like to know, are most of your songs story songs?
I would say probably, yeah. Most of them are story songs. I've kind of had my experiments with the esoteric, artsy, weird stuff, but I think for me, it just it is either a commentary on my own life or what I see in someone else's life. I just kind of fall back to that style of songwriting. Not to say that there's a lot of different ways to write a song and tell a story and to make people feel something. One of my good friends is a huge fan of Explosions in the Sky, no vocals in that band,
Right.
So there are instrumental bands that can make you feel something. But for me, I think that's probably the most effective way that I can communicate is through storytelling.
Several people were asking about how you approach writing a song. Are you sitting in the basement, or how do you go about your process of writing?
That's a good question. For me, usually I am a lyricist first, so I'll write a rough outline of some lyrics, and almost kind of like my mom writes poetry, and she's been into that since I was a kid, and I think it probably stemmed from that. I want to write and get the general idea down on paper, and then kind of fiddle around on the guitar and see what feels right, and then it's just a matter of kind of either making the words fit in there or trimming down, addition by subtraction, right? We want to make the song better by subtracting some of the wordiness out of there, and that's the style for me. I've attempted the write a song a day thing.
Oh, right.
Oh,
right.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's hard.
It is. You can write a song a day for 3 or 4 or 5 days or a couple weeks, but I tried to do it for a year. And I found out that I was writing a lot of trash, and it was demotivating for me. So then I went to a song a week, and I think there is a lot to be said for consistency and just honing your craft through songwriting and trying other things. I can't write a story song every day.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I want to try to write some different things. I want to try to write a ballad. Just step outside of the box, out of the comfort zone a little bit. So, but that tends to be how I approach songwriting. Our lyrics first. Sit down with the guitar and see what feels right and kind of how to work those in together.
Which is fascinating to me because most people will say they write music first and then take out their notebooks and see what they have that might fit that.
This probably comes from me having no real training. I've never had a vocal trainer. I'm sure that I could be so much better if I had that training, and I wish I did. Even when I used to skateboard, I skated Mongo. You know what I mean? With your feet real weird. Nobody skates Mongo. And you get picked on for that. But I didn't know, I just had a skateboard and I was out there by myself. And so that's what felt right. And I kind of went with it. I've tried to start skating here again in the last couple of years. And man, it hurts a lot more than it did when I was 15. So I'm never going to be a skater again, sadly. But I can at least relive the memories of it.
Darn those old joints.
Yeah.
Would you think we could get another song from you, Denny?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I'll do one that I recorded over at Micah's, and is pretty much done from a while back. I need to get in there and do a couple more songs, but this is I actually don't have a good title for this. So if anybody has a title for this, that'd be great. But I just call it the Black Dress Song. I never should have played your game. You took all of my money, you took everything from me, and left just as fast as you came. And I know that you'd say that you'd stay with me forevermore. But when I looked you in your eyes, to my surprise, you were staring at the door. Whoa, whoa. And to me, you're just that medicine that helps me lose myself again when I start to find comfort in my skin. But to you, I'm just another man who fell into your evil plan to help you find some comfort in your sins. And you put your black dress on to take it right back off. This town is just too small, and its people love to talk about the girl from round the way who came and stayed for just a night. And I know what you did to me, it had to be the furthest thing from right. Whoa, whoa. And to me, you're just that medicine that helps me lose myself again when I start to find comfort in my skin. But to you, I'm just another man who fell into your evil plan to help you find some comfort in your sins. You put your black dress on to take it right back off. You put your black dress on, and these people love to talk. Well, you put your black dress on to take it right back off. Well, you put your black dress on, and these people love to talk. You were a fake, and I was a fool. I never should have played your game.
Lovely.
Cool. Thanks.
I like that a lot.
Thank you.
I think you got an album's worth of stuff here.
I hope so.
In case you're just joining us, hi, I'm Dr. J. This is your Tuesday afternoon alternative on WUDR, Dayton, Ohio, student-run radio from the University of Dayton, a rock in the Gem City, music in all directions. Support your local music scene. So I'm curious. You really bring out a lot of deep emotion in your songs, whether it's the story song or I don't know that I'd call that last song a story song, but there's deep emotion there. Do you tend to find that your lyrical themes move towards, whether you want to call it dark or depressing or, deep emotion, would be a better way to say it?
Yeah, I think that probably is left over from being an emo kid in the 2000s, for me, I guess, music is that release, and that's the only way that I can discharge that like negative mojo, is to get it out through a song and to, I like dynamics. Like I like real quiet parts that go into real big parts, that's, I don't know. It's just me. It's just kind of what comes out, and I would like to think that I'm not a dark guy.
You are not.
So
I'm going to help you out there. You aren't.
yeah, maybe music is just that discharge thing for me to get those to get that out. But then there's sometimes I write stupid songs, about silly stuff too. So, but I think my favorites probably are the dark ones.
Oh, I have long said on this program that the songs that I love the most are like the darkest songs.
Yeah.
There's something powerful about that. That you've got that out there.
Yeah.
It's like a piece of your soul that's out there for people to see.
Yeah.
And whether or not that's a real representation of who you are or what you are.
Yeah.
I think that everybody can connect to that feeling.
Yeah. You're probably absolutely right about that. I think that says something about both of us, that we like the dark stuff. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it says, but
we laugh a lot, but apparently we're covering a lot of pain. I don't know.
Well, what I think is so interesting is when you read or listen to people talk about like Robin Williams. And I mean, there have been a lot of celebrity suicides and just a lot of suicide here locally too. That is such a painful thing. And the people that have the biggest smiles are sometimes hiding a lot behind that smile, So I think there's some truth to that it's hard to tell sometimes who are the people that have those feelings, and everybody needs some way to get that emotion out. And for me, it's music. I feel like that's a healthier thing than like drinking or drugs or something like that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people turn to that, and that just exacerbates those dark feelings that they have. So for me, music is like a healthy thing too. A personal health thing, I guess. It's just something I enjoy.
Oh, absolutely. Do you think I can convince you to do another song?
Yeah, let's see. What would be a good one to do?
An Uncle Tupelo cover would be great.
Oh, let's see. If I do a cover...
See, that's not fair to you since I haven't pushed you hard on that yet.
If I do a cover, you know what I'd like to do? Especially...
Well, here's the thing, Denny. You can do anything you want.
Okay. A song that I have really been falling in love with lately, and I like playing it, is Pure Prairie League. Amy, do you like that song?
I love that song. Yeah.
I might do that. Let me find a good key to do that in. So kind of experimenting with that. All right, let's try it. I can see why you think you belong to me. I never meant to make you think, I let you see the one thing for yourself. But now you're off with someone else and I'm alone. And I thought that I could keep you for my own. Amy, what you wanna do? I think that I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do. Don't you think the time is right for us to find all those things you thought weren't proper could be right on time, and then you see which way we should turn, together or alone. And I can never see what's right or what is wrong. Can you tell me, Amy, what you wanna do? I think that I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do. What do you think the chances are that you'll sing that harmony part?
Oh, I don't think I can. I'm over here wanting to.
Now it's come to what you want, you've had your way. And all those things you're fighting for just faded into gray. And can't you see that I don't know if it is you or if it's me? But if it's one of us, I'm sure we both will see. took too long to see it. Amy, what you wanna do? I think that I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do. Amy, what you wanna do? I think that I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do. I'm falling in and out of love with you. I'm falling in and out of love with you. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm falling in and out of love with you.
Lovely.
Cool.
Lovely.
I love that song. That's a good song.
That is, it really is a good song.
Yeah.
And like, I was really tempted, but I'm just saying, I haven't rehearsed at all.
We'll have to work that one up for some time. Me and you could start a band together too. I need another band.
Oh, I don't, not with me. You should talk to Mrs. Dr. J.
All right, cool.
She's the guitar player. but no, Denny, I oh my gosh, look at the time. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in and chatting with me today.
Yeah.
I have to admit that I wanted to bring you in here solo for quite a while. I saw you play one of the songwriter showcases, which I forget where.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like Blind Bob's or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought, this guy's got a beautiful voice.
Thank you. Well, yeah, thank you for having me on here. Thank you for doing this show. The fact that what you do for Dayton music and for local musicians is awesome. So, love the show. And I love
you
you
were
as a
way
person.
too kind.
Come on.
No. I do the show because I love music. The fact that I get to hang out with people like you, see, it's all for me.
Well, this is not much of a treat for you. I feel like I still owe you some. So, yeah, thank you for having me on here. Love the show, and can't wait to see who is on next week. Who do you have next week?
Oh my gosh, I have to look at the calendar. Okay. That could be Far From Eden.
I think that's right.
I think it's Far From Eden.
Okay.
Typical Johnsons are in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
We've got Neo-American Pioneers in like a week or two after that.
So they're getting ready to do their CD release show, or did they just do that? No, I think it's still coming up.
I think it's still coming up, yeah. But that's the great thing about Dayton. There's so much great music.
Yeah.
And I keep joking there's something in the water, but there really has to be.
Hey, did you get that notice about Montgomery County's water not meeting the pH levels for drinking?
I didn't.
Maybe that's what's in the water.
There's something's being added.
Right.
It's throwing the pH levels out of whack, but it's giving people great musical talent.
That's right. There's always a trade-off.
Yeah, the unfortunate side effect might be like the third ear, but that's why you have the hair.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No. Okay, people, we're just kidding. It's just a joke. Denny Cottle plays in Charlie Jackson, the Heartland Railway, and I'm already forgetting the name.
Allison Road.
Yep. He plays out solo. He's got an upcoming solo set at the Jimmy's Ladder Acoustic Showcase.
Yep.
Usually they do that outside. It's a great opportunity. But if you just see Denny Cottle's name somewhere, my advice is that you go see him.
Thank you. Oh, and Facebook. I probably should mention that. I wanted to come up with a fun Facebook name, so it's facebook.com/DennyIsNeat. Is my Facebook address.
I think that's true. You're always your facial hair is always neatly trimmed. You're always well dressed.
Appreciate you saying that.